Beautiful viewers, you're welcome to the news. My name is Florence Mbam. From the headlines, EBBC Ladies Lounge crew celebrates World Menstrual Hygiene Day in grand style. President Tinubu wants FCT minister to ignore distractions from retrogressive elements. Russian court sentences Colombian man to jail for fighting for Ukraine. The news in details. Ladies Lounge on Salt FM has embarked on Paddy Girl initiative to mark World Menstrual Hygiene Day and to raise awareness on menstrual hygiene practices. The sensitization took place at Junction Secondary School, Mweze, Ibagon, in Iji local government area. The report.
The leader of the group, Comrade Nena Igwe, stated that the initiative was aimed at reducing unhygienic application of pad, owing to poverty and its attendant social isolation that come with menstruation. She said the month of May marks World Menstrual Hygiene Month, expressing happiness over the success of the event. She also thanked the Director General of Ebonyi Broadcasting Corporation, Chief Tony Mwizi, and the sponsors for the success.
Had a girl child initiative that was born out of the desire to make sure that every girl child is padded here in Ebonyi State. Throughout the month of May, it was celebrated world over as World Menstrual Hygiene Month. We are doing this to help end period poverty and social isolation that comes with when a girl is menstruating.
Some members of the group who sensitized the students on menstrual hygiene, Comrade Uchechi Ogodo, Comrade Ifesnachinwamini, Comrade Florence Mbam, and Comrade Doris Igwe, urged the students to take proper care of their body, especially during their menstrual period, by taking their baths, changing their pads at least 3 times in a day, and other menstrual hygiene practices to avoid contracting infection that may lead to infertility in future.
If you're using a sanitary pad, if you can access a sanitary pad and you're using it, what you're going to do immediately after changing your sanitary pad, you fold it judiciously with the pack, seal it to avoid infections. All right?
Yeah. As far as you are seeing your menses, take your beds regularly, wash your undies, change your pads, and wash your hands. Keep yourself, the whole body, clean.
So you're seeing what I'm doing?
Yes.
Then you remove this. Make sure you keep these things well so that you'll be able to dispose them. You don't litter it around.
Anyhow.
This. I hope you're seeing me. You lap it on your panties this way. You do the same with this side. So you see how it's lapping well now?
Yes.
Then you now turn it.
Even you guys, you should support them. When any of them, maybe in the class like this, respect yourself, respect the person. Just meet your sister.
The principal of the school, Mr. Israel Oreke, who was overwhelmed by the visit, thanked the group and Chief Tony Mwizi, saying that though the school teaches the students sex education, seeing external body to come and teach them would make the students to be more serious in practicing menstrual hygiene. Speaking on behalf of the students, Ms. Chidema Wambo expressed joy and thanked the group for giving them pads, promising to practice all the menstrual hygiene they had learned.
What you did today shows that you care for our students, just like in the line of the governor, People Chattels of Need. I really happy. You can see them, they are happy because many of them are afraid, even though we taught them based on the sex education, especially for the senior class. But, you know, as they're seeing our faces every day, they think that it is something like that. But they now see the different faces today. They now know that it is real.
Well, about this topic about menstruation, I really learned a lot. Because before I was thinking that when you're seeing it, you should be shy. But now I've come to know that if you're seeing it, you should be proud of yourself.
The group shared over 200 pads to the students at Mweze Junction Secondary School. Ifesnachinwamini, Salt TV News.
A non-governmental organization, the Muna Foundation TMF, has commenced empowerment and mentorship of girls through basketball and education to complement the lofty efforts of Governor Francis Nwifuru in sports and education sectors. The empowerment and mentorship facilitated by an international professional basketball player, Mrs. Blessing Muna Ejiofor, which kick-started at the basketball courts Ebonyi Shopping Mall Abakaliki, was attended by government functionaries and sports lovers. Salt TV reporter Douglas Wampo has the details.
The facilitator of the Basketball Empowerment and Mentorship Scheme, Mrs. Blessing Mona Ejiofor, an international basketball player, said she embarked on the scheme as a way of giving back to the society and to contribute her quota towards supporting the sports initiatives of the state government, and enjoined all and sundry, especially government at all levels, to support the scheme aimed at making girls to be professional basketball players. She admonished the young participating girls to take the training and mentorship seriously, as the game has the potential of changing their lives positively and of the society.
To come back to my country and my state to give back to the community by empowering these young girls, teaching them about basketball, life skills, and just empowering them to go out there and be game changers.
The Commissioner for Youth Development and Sports, Prince Richard Idike, represented by the Permanent Secretary, Mr. Hilary Ogbonna, praised the facilitator of the scheme, Mrs. Blessing Mona Ejiofor, for remembering her home state by empowering and mentoring women in sports, and promised the support of the state government towards the full realization of the scheme.
I want to appreciate you, our sister and our ambassador. You have done great. Remembering where you are coming from and how you started. What we are experiencing and seeing today is product of favor. Somebody who believed that he or she started from somewhere.
The chairman, State Basketball Board, Reverend Father Maximus Obododike, a basketball stakeholder, Chief Ake Ngbabo, and the state basketball head coach, Mr. Kensley Acho, appreciated Mrs. Blessing Mona Ejiofor for her giant effort towards revitalizing basketball game in the state, and called on the players and people to continue supporting the game in the overall interest of the society.
Yes, I think she did great, because if society offers you something, it is always good one comes back and offer back what society has given.
I gave all my support and made sure that everything went well. Not everybody that had opportunity, like that kind of opportunity, do remember, start from, still recruit people from his own house.
What is happening in Ebonyi State is the first time of the kind, and we really appreciate and asking the state to come to our aid and help us.
Some of the players, including Miss Emanuela Igwe, Joy Orenoyele, and Chidima Nnachi, thanked Mrs. Mona Ejiofor for mentoring them through basketball training, and promised to take the scheme seriously and to give back to the society if they later become successful in the game. The mentorship scheme featured shoes and uniform giveaway, skills training and mentorship, among others. I am Douglas Wankwo.
The federal government's first quarter 2025 savings following the removal of petrol subsidies increased by more than 500% compared to previous periods. The National Orientation Agency recently released data indicating the increase. The reports.
According to the National Orientation Agency, the subsidy removal has led to a significant increase in government revenue as the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited began transferring savings to the Federation Account Allocation Committee. The savings from the declaration that stopped the subsidy freed vast resources, boosting government revenue from 154 billion naira to 836 billion naira. In the first quarter, foreign reserves also grew to $38.9 billion despite forex obligations. National Orientation Agency said the removal of the petrol subsidy by President Bola Tinubu ended a historic financial drain that cost Nigeria over $84 billion.
Away from Ebonyi State, the First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, has commenced her two-day working visit to Enugu State on a high note, with the flag off of the distribution of 10,000 kits to midwives and nurses in the southeastern region. The report.
The event, according to Mrs. Oluremi Tinubu, marked the last phase of a nationwide distribution of 60,000 pairs of scrubs across the 6 geopolitical zones. The distribution of the tools and kits was to complement the ongoing nationwide training exercise for 120,000 frontline health workers by the federal government, of which 60,470 workers had already completed their training. Speaking during the event, which held at the International Conference Center, Enugu, Mrs. Tinubu announced a grant to support female petty traders in the state, adding that in the spirit of the event, the Renewed Hope Initiative presented additional grants of 50 million naira to the First Lady of Enugu State, with a sum of 50,000 naira each to support 1,000 women petty traders to recapitalize their existing businesses.
And if you just joined us, you're on to Salt Television News. We'll be heading now for a quick break. Salt TV News returns in a moment with more interesting stories you don't want to miss. Just stay. Glad to have you back. President Bola Tinubu has urged the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, not to be distracted by busybodies, but to focus on his mandate to transform the nation's capital. Tinubu stated this on Tuesday when he inaugurated the rehabilitated and refurbished International Conference Center, Abuja, which was renamed in his honor as the Bola Ahmed Tinubu International Conference Center. The report.
The event was attended by the Senate President Godswill Akpabio, Ministers Wale Edun and Lateef Fagbemi, among others. The President said the refurbished International Conference Center was part of his administration determined efforts to change the way Nigerians do things to reflect them as people of quality and character. The President said his administration was aware that modern infrastructure remained the backbone of economic prosperity.
From the foreign scene, a Russian court on Tuesday sentenced a Colombian man to 28 years in prison for fighting in the Ukrainian army against Moscow as a mercenary, including in Russia's Kursk region. A court in the border region found the Colombian citizen guilty of taking part in the armed conflict as a mercenary in the armed forces of Ukraine. The details. The United Kingdom has sanctioned 2 Israeli far-right ministers over comments they made on Gaza. Itamar Ben-Gvir and Bezalel Smotrich will both be banned from entering the UK and will have all their assets in the UK frozen as part of the measures announced by the Foreign Secretary. The details.
David Lammy said Finance Minister Smotrich and National Security Minister Ben-Gvir had incited extremist violence and serious abuses of Palestinian human rights. In response, Israel said it is outrageous that elected representatives and members of the government are subjected to this kind of measures. Both Smotrich and Ben-Gvir have been criticized for their stance on the war in Gaza. Smotrich has campaigned against allowing aid into Gaza, while Ben-Gvir has called for Gazans to be resettled from the territory. The possibility of sanctioning these 2 ministers has been in the pipeline.
And this is where we draw the curtain on the news. But before we go, let's take a recap of the major stories. Ladies Lounge on Salt FM has embarked on Pada Girl initiative to mark World Menstrual Hygiene Day and to raise awareness on menstrual hygiene practices. President Bola Tinubu has urged the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, not to be distracted by busybodies but to focus on his mandate to transform the nation's capital. A Russian court has sentenced a Colombian man to 28 years in prison for fighting in the Ukrainian army against Moscow as a missionary. My name is Florence Mbam. Many thanks for joining us.